Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being here on a Wednesday morning. We have so much to get into. Folks, we are the Wrestling for Life Network. This will be another WrestleMania watch along. I know it might not be the Zombie Mania you're used to, but the show must go on. We are here. We are ready to go. We are going to jump through WrestleMania 2000 today. It's going to be a fun one. Lots to talk about. Get in that chat. I hope everyone's Christmas week is going well. And we are going to get into McManomania, essentially. So let's go. Ding, ding, ding. We're live and ready to go, folks. As always, I am Mr. KJ White, back at it again. I know you're not expecting to see me here this morning. I will happily be Luna's beard today, but it is the show that goes back and covers all the past WrestleManias. We're going to have a little bit of fun with this one. Of course, the main event is essentially McManomania. We're going to get into all four members of the McMahon family with their own representative in the main event, but we're going to cover it all. We're going to go from match one to the end. And this is something we've been doing on this channel for quite a while. As I said, things might be a little bit different here this morning, but we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I see the chat already filling up with some comments. So don't be shy. Don't be quiet. Get in there. Let me know what you want to talk about. Everything's on the table. And anything in between. Like I said, I hope everyone out there is having a wonderful WrestleMania day, I guess. I was going to say a Christmas week. But remember, folks, we are back live for AEW Dynamite tonight. We're here all week long, including Impact Friday, and then Friday, SmackDown Rampage, Saturday Collision, and then we'll have a couple days off for Christmas, but we got more content coming your way, more not so live stuff, but make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe and be a part of the family. It's going to be a fun one. I'm going to hit play on this right now. I've already skipped ahead a little bit as the opening match here tonight, a doozy. Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan will be taking on the Godfather and D'Lo Brown with Ice-T and the Ho Train. So that's going to be very interesting. And as you could imagine, we start off WrestleMania with the beautiful Lillian Garcia, and we are kicking it off as well with the voice of a generation, Jim Ross and the King, as this is suiting up to be, again, the millennial mania. So I got the entrances happening right now. I don't know if anyone out there has access to this, but if you want to sync up, I'm watching Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan. We barely knew you, Bull, coming out to the ring. I'll quickly say hello to some peeps. But AJ, welcome back. Yes, for life. I love seeing those emojis, those stickers in the chat. One of our newest members, Baby Man Gaming. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Luna did grow a beard, very much so. What's up? We are Pro Wrestling. Good to see you. I hope you're doing well, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning. So when they go to the real WrestleMania 2000, do they call it WrestleMania 16? Even on, like, I have the network and such and all the subscriptions coming out of every orifice at this point in my life. But yeah, they refer to it as WrestleMania 2000. So when they eventually get there, they might have to revert back. But I don't think many of us are going to get to see that one. So we'll find out from the afterlife. KJ, how you doing? What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning, brother. Fluff Salisbury. Always a pleasure to see you. Do you remember the all-day long 8-hour pre-show for Mania? Yeah, I mean, I remember as, it evolved, right? Like, I remember being young and it was just a couple-hour show. It wasn't it was a pay-per-view. It was a big deal. Of course, 1 through 8. But it started evolving and started evolving. Then we started getting these marathon shows that took forever. But But right now, we've kicked off as a very shiny tag team in D'Lo Brown, which, I mean, shout out to D'Lo. I named my fantasy football team after D'Lo Brown. So, uh, and the D'Lo Browns are in a battle this week with the Buffalo Bill Goldbergs. But the Godfather and D'Lo completely in control to kick this one off. It's beautiful, isn't it? Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the best WrestleMania of all time. MDB. Let's go. Yeah, how can you go wrong with Ice-T? I remember having, I don't know if you guys remember, but Body Count was Ice-T's original group, famous for Cop Killer. And yeah, shout out to Ice-T, better known for his Law and Order days now, I think, more than being the musical genius that he was. Big Boss Man, of course, Hall of Famer. And Bull Buchanan, like I said, we barely knew Bull. But yeah, an interesting start. And again, very simple, not a whole lot of glitz and glamour. Lillian Garcia opens the show, gives us the national anthem, and then we get right into the matches. I know this one's not a long one. I think we're sitting in about 9 minutes for this one. I sat next to Lillian on a plane from Scottsdale. That's awesome, man. I hope you got an autograph. Lillian seems like such a nice lady. So I hope that experience was a good one there, AJ. And what I love about these old pay-per-views, to me, is just the crowd. The crowds are loud, the signs everywhere, the noise. It is excellent. And of course, JR and the King never fail to deliver, as Bull Buchanan with a huge clothesline taking control on this one. Sophie, how you doing? How you doing? Oh, wow. This main event, I heard, got changed a lot. Wasn't Chris Jericho supposed to be in the match at one point? I don't know if Chris Jericho was actually supposed to be in this one at this time. Chris Jericho is on this card as he is in a triple threat, a 2 out of 3 falls triple threat with Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle. I mean, when you think of, at the time, Jericho, Benoit, and Angle, you knew they were going to tear it down. But I don't know if he was supposed to be in this main event or not. Potentially, yes, because that was the part where Jericho kind of came in hot and everybody went insane because Jericho made the jump. Of course, the Y2J countdown coinciding with Y2K. And it just, yeah, he kind of hit a rut. Like, he kind of went from, battling the Rock, verbally battling the Rock and such, and then he kind of had a bit of a lull. But this IC title match coming up is a great one. She was super chill. I like that, man. I'm glad to hear that. Always sucks when you meet people that you're like, oh my God, it's you, and they're dicks. So that's a lot better. Mania 2000 was the Mania with a lot of multi-person matches. Yeah, it was one of those things back in the day. They started adding more. Again, we're in the throes of the Attitude Era. The main event, if you guys don't know, every member of the McMahon family had a representative in an elimination match. As we get Triple H, The Big Show, The Rock, and Mick Foley, all representing a McMahon. So, yes, that was the big main event. I remember being a young fella. Well, I wasn't that young. I was in my teens by the time this one hit. Just to think, 10 years later, I attended WrestleMania 26. It's one thing I've never done is attend a WrestleMania. I've been to a lot of wrestling shows. But being that WrestleMania has been here a couple times, I've never been to one. So put that on my bucket list to one day attend a WrestleMania. 26 was a decent WrestleMania from my recollection. Too bad the Austin and Undertaker returns happened like 2 months after this. Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you could have had Austin and Taker on this, or Austin for sure, on this card, you would have loved it. Would have helped the card for sure. But yeah, a lot of tag matches, a lot of mixed matches. We even have a cat fight, which is interesting. Val Venus, hello, ladies, as special guest referee. There's a lot of crazy ones. Richard Jr., what do you have for me here today? I'm here, but I think the devil is going to throw the match between Samoa Joe and MJF out. The devil faces MJF on AEW Dynamite after World's End. If MJF's still there, I mean, that's up in the air. We'll still have to talk about that. The devil, to me, still has to be Adam Cole. Samoa Joe and MJF. Right now, as I sit here, and I said this last night, I think MJF's going to lose to Joe, whether it's because of the devil or not. The one Mania I attended was WrestleMania 23. All right. Let me know if for those who've been to a WrestleMania, and if you're listening to me right now, the WrestleMania you attended, what was your favorite part? I want to know. As right now, Big Boss Man and Big Bull are in control. Double axe handle coming off the top on Godfather. I lied on D'Lo. I've never been to a Rumble or a Mania. I want to go to a Rumble. Rumble would be excellent, wouldn't it? Just because you're kind of built in for a whole lot of popping. I had this on DVD. I blazed a lot of trees to this one. Oh man, yeah, no, I completely agree on that. It was this one, WrestleMania 2000, WrestleMania 20 was a big one that I watched a shit ton. So I'm looking forward to getting to that one. We will continue to roll on, as we said on the channel. We are hoping to do a watch along for every WrestleMania up until 39. And of course, we will be here for WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania 40 this week, this year, or this coming year. And yeah, WrestleMania 40 is going to be an awesome show. We're going to be here for 12 hours Saturday, 12 hours Sunday. And then we got a bunch of stuff on the Thursday and Friday leading in. We really cover more than everybody else, folks. But right now, oh, we got a hot tag. And again, shiny Godfather, all aboard. The three things I enjoyed most at WrestleMania 20 was Taker Batista. I like it. Cena, Shawn Michaels, and Vince getting his head shaved. Classic moment. Those are good ones. And again, getting to see I've seen Taker live. Still to this day, one of the coolest out of all the concerts, all the sports, all the things I've attended over my time. Seeing an Undertaker entrance live, there's nothing like it. So that's pretty cool. We Are Pro Wrestling. I recorded this WrestleMania on VHS and watched it like a million times. I like it. I love going back. I wish we still had VHS like the way it used to be. Like I had so many movies. Like I even had, I don't know if you guys were out there where you would record a movie, but it had like commercials in it. You're like, shit. But it's over. As the Big Boss Man and Bull Buchanan take the W and chase the hose down the aisleway. I guess they're not done with the festivities quite yet. So yeah, now we jump into the back. Triple H hanging out. Now at this time, if you guys don't remember, Stephanie McMahon is the women's champion. Triple H is the world champion. And up next, we're going to get some hardcore. Hardcore Holly taking on Crash Holly. Think about it. I think it's the hardcore battle royal. I'll confirm in a second if my memory is working. The HBK Taker match and also Bret Hart return. Yeah, dude, Bret Hart coming back. How could you argue with that? And again, if you're going to a live show and you get to see Taker, there's really nothing like it. And when people say shit like that on TV all the time, you're like, could it be? But there's just something about it. And, it's unfortunate that the man is now retired. But did we have some good WrestleMania entrances with Taker? All right. So we're going back to Heat from earlier that night. Yes, good old Sunday Night Heat, which I know myself and Big Nick have advocated that bring back Sunday Night Heat. But they are talking about the hardcore battle royal. I see Taz. I see Albert. I see Funaki. I think I see Jonathan Coachman. Crash Holly, of course, is the champion at this time. Viscera, Big Vis. Richard, I think the most important thing is for Judgment Day's feud with Rey Mysterio should continue. But Judgment Day is not feuding with Rey Mysterio, Richard. I'm not quite sure. Like I know it's a little a little early in the morning to be feeling a little wobbly. As here comes Taz. Do you guys feel like Taz ever really hit his stride as a WWE talent? We knew what he meant to ECW. He came in. Yeah, he had some stuff, but I felt like Taz never really got to the top of that mountain as a WWEF talent. What was the worst pay-per-view of that year? Of 2000? Whew. Now you're testing me. Let me see if I can give you one. Royal Rumble, no way. Maybe Insurrection? I can't quite remember. But I am from Greenwich, Connecticut. The Mean Street Posse. We went from hose to posse real quick, folks. I remember those days. My grandma still records things like that. It's amazing, man. My dad did a lot of recording. And so if you guys remember like the old school Batman, like the pow, zang, bang, Batman, like when channels would do marathons, they did a Batman marathon and he had them all recorded. Plus there's all these old commercials. So when you go back, you get to see like the old commercials, the old vibes. And it's funny because a lot of it now, if it was played in 2023, even the commercials wouldn't fly. Some of the content and such. But even like the old movies, I remember we talk a lot about Major League here on this channel. Like I had stacks of just recorded TV, and then I started recording like Rap City and stuff like that when I was when I was a teenager, and it would allow me. I would dub it from the VHS to cassette. The good old days where you had to work for your content. Here come the Headbangers, who had at this point transitioned into this weird bra-wearing tag team. They weren't quite, they weren't what they used to be. So, yeah, the Headbangers. I didn't become a full-time WWE watcher until, I think, 2000, 2001. Fair enough. The Acolytes. It's JBL and Farouk. Ron Simmons in the house, folks. Damn. So, yeah, we're getting a hardcore battle royal. The hardcore champion, Crash Holly. Imagine if Twitter was around during the Attitude Era or even YouTube. It would be a different world, man. I know a lot of wrestlers, a lot of musicians, a lot of people have talked about. Could you imagine if back in the day they had social media the way they did now? Half the bands and half the acts and half the wrestlers that we've known, have come to know and love, probably would have got canceled pretty quick. They would have been put on blast pretty quick for a lot of their opinions and antics, like, all the stories of destroying hotel rooms and shit they used to get, and, Ric Flair with 300 women at the hotel. Yeah, I mean, shit. Did you know that Taz was fully white? I had no idea until like 3 months ago. Taz is, I believe, Italian. Right? A New York guy. I think he's Italian. Nick is going to give me shit if I get this wrong. But yeah, I think, that's still white. As Taz just eliminated somebody and going at it with Viscera. Or did Taz just become champion? During this time, was it the beginning of the downfall of WCW? Yeah, in and around that time. I think it started declining at this point. WWE had turned up the volume, right? Like had adjusted, and really we were getting The Rock, we were getting Triple H, Stone Cold, Mick Foley was doing his thing. It was really, and they started adding things like without WCW, we don't get a hardcore championship. Without WCW, we don't get some of the even the faces. Like we talk about Taz. Taz may never have transitioned to WWE if WWE wasn't trying to find cool and unique things to do, as both companies kind of made ECW poaching ground. So just to give everybody an update, there is a ton of people outside the ring. There's garbage cans, there's mops, there's baking trays. As Crash Holly eats one from Big Vis. Of course, Big Vis post Men on a Mission. And it was a bit of a wonky time, right? That's where you had like the Acolytes, Big Vis, Mohawk Taker. Taz had some moments, but never fully panned out. I'm with you on that one. He never, as a guy that was paying attention, super excited when Taz showed up, and then he never got his footing. Maybe Vince just felt he was too small overall, but man, what a good wrestler. They shook Taz's hand after a show. I shook. No, look at you, just bumping into everybody. See, Taz is a guy. I wonder, like, was he nice? Was he like cool, or was he a little bit prickly? A big problem with Taz coming to the WWF was the Radicals coming at the same time and overshadowing him. That's a very good point. But the thing is, like, we're going to see the Radicals here on this show. We Are Pro Wrestling, as I'm sure you're aware. To me, the Radicals were like Eddie separates himself from the group and becomes Eddie, Eddie Guerrero that we kind of think back fondly of all the, the accolades and the championships. But Perry Saturn, I was a huge fan of Perry Saturn. To me, he became a comic gimmick, and it didn't really work out. Dean Malenko never really found his footing. But I thought the Radicals were cool when they first came in, but they never really amounted to as much as I expected. As we will see here later in the show, where they take on China. And who's with China? China and Too Cool. Yeah. So that very interesting. But yeah, definitely a bigger deal was made of the Rascals coming into the show. So yeah, absolutely. As right now, everybody's getting hit with everything. Taz lays out Bradshaw. Crash Holly's down. Bob Holly swinging at Vis. Garbage can to the head. He was better at commentary. Taz is great on commentary. I'd like Taz to I wish the AEW was AEW commentary was a two-man show. I really do, because I think Taz doesn't get to say enough. I don't love Tony, and I'm not a big fan of Excalibur. So, but I wish they could, if you had Taz and Amato, Taz and Nigel, Taz and Riccaboni. But I love Taz. I think he's got a great personality, great talker. As Funaki, Kai and Tai, if anybody misses Kai and Tai, they are in the house right now. Taz came in a few months after Kurt Angle. Yeah. And Taz went after Kurt Angle. So, and again, he had a bit of a shine when he first came in. Like, they made a big deal about, the suplex. Oh, sorry. We got a tennis racket. One of the Mean Street Posse. We should do a Wrestling Where Are They Now show. I'm curious. It would have been interesting if they had started doing 2-day manias a lot earlier than they did. Well, if you've watched our streams for a hot minute, you would know that I don't love 2-night shows. I think a lot of times that with the 2-night show, a lot of times there's not enough compelling shit between two shows. But beyond that, I believe that it just, to me, it took out it took away the special feel of WrestleMania. You want to do but at that point, the WrestleManias had gotten 6-7 hours we're doing these all day long events, start 1 p.m., don't finish till 11. So, yeah, I understand why they transitioned. My fear with, like, if you talk about earlier years, it would have been very interesting if they could have pulled it off. Like, if there was really enough, or would we have a whole bunch of wonky matches just thrown in there? I mean, if you look at this card, you could have, I mean, you have two main events, or at least four main eventers in the main event. So, yeah, you're not totally wrong. It'd be very interesting. But I would prefer like one, big 4.5, 5 hour WrestleMania opposed to 2 nights. Even the same thing of like I main evented WrestleMania night one. Like there's always this asterisk nowadays, and then that's is just the old school vibe in me, I guess. Tape trading was definitely a thing in those days. Huge, huge. Anytime we would go to like the local flea market, and every time you could find somebody that had some, oh my god, you were thrilled. As everybody just pinned Vis, Funaki, your new hardcore champion, temporarily, as we still have 7 minutes left in this brouhaha. This match is basically a beat the clock challenge, essentially. Oh, they're running away. Where are they going? Funaki takes off like the 24/7 champion. As I will remind everybody, they are in the Arrowhead Pond in Anaheim. Bradshaw. The APA. They almost got Shane Douglas back. Almost. Shane Douglas is an interesting character because I think a lot of people look back at Shane Douglas and we know what he did, especially in the onset of ECW and such. Revered as a great wrestler, had a good career, but he's another guy that never really got to the top of the mountain. Oh! So Joey, yeah, one of the Mean Street Posse, Joey is now your hardcore champion, being taken out by one of the bangers. I can't tell which one at the moment. Thrasher. Thrasher wins. As everybody's in the back, we got forklifts and lead pipes and more baking sheets. The fun doesn't stop here, folks. Dun, dun, dun. Taz has a darker tan than me. He's got that Sicilian blood, I think. I think that's what it is, MD. 1999 is where a lot of these WCW talent started jumping ship. Yeah, it was 99 into 2000, 2001. It was really watching, WWE does what they do best is just patience, worry about them, do their thing, and then start poaching, start picking. And you take the, underutilized talents. You take the Chris Jerichos, the Dean Malenkos. Oh, wait. Now we got blood everywhere. It's Pete is now your new hardcore champion, and they make their way back to the ring. Taz with a handful of hair. Is that Pete Gas? Taz just became champion. The belt is going to change hands a few times in this match. Oh, absolutely. We've had about 5 title changes already. Funaki, one of the headbangers, 2 members of the Mean Street Posse. Pete Gas, Yukon alum. Suplex by Taz on the outside. Bob Holly kicks him in the head and just keeps walking. It doesn't even break up the pin. He just randomly kicks Taz in the head, moves on, no stoppage. We're just like, boop, and take that. Love this shit. This match was whoever gets the pin is the champion. Yeah, 100%. So very similar to what we see in the 24/7 title. I mean, it'd be fun to bring back the hardcore title. I'm okay with it. But what chaos. So Crash and Buddy Holly. Crash. Oh. I call him Buddy Holly. Hardcore Holly. Whoa, I look just like Buddy Holly. Sting almost went to WWE a lot earlier than he actually did. Sophie, very true. But the thing with Sting is he was always very protective of his name, of his image. He was so worried that the WWE was going to get a hold of Sting and crush his legacy or ruin his legacy. And listen, Vince had a bad habit of doing that. I think Sting had every right to be cautious. And one of the downfalls, or I wouldn't say downfalls, one of the unfortunate things of of Vince buying WCW is the fact that so many wrestlers, Sting, Hogan, NWO, were on guaranteed money. So they didn't have to join. So when they finally do buy out WCW and you get, oh, the invasion is coming, and it's not the people we expected. It's not that we didn't love some of them, but it's Canyon, it's Mike Awesome, DDP. Everybody was hoping for the big boys to show up. Taz, Crash, and Hardcore Holly in the ring. Crash, gushing blood, takes a trash can lid from Taz. Taz, who's currently champion, goes for the pin on Crash. And even JR and the King are like, what's he doing? The shit is so chaotic, even the people in it are lost. Oh, that's too funny. Taz from Red Hook, New York. Facts. Good old New York boy. Taz and Michael Cole on commentary is one of my favorite duos. Yeah, it worked well, especially at the time when, Michael Cole was being a bit of a pain in the ass. Taz, I thought, played really well. Taz plays a heel color man really, really well. And I don't mean color man as in his tan. I mean as in playing second. ECW. Did I miss something? Taz was cool. Taz was always cool. Again, I think Vince was very cautious, or not cautious, but he had a bias towards the bigger dudes, right? Like Taz coming in, Crash Holly, even Dean Malenko. A lot of times there was exceptions. Jericho was a smaller guy, and that's when it started slowly changing. We had gone through some of the steroid accusations, so you saw some of the smaller guys get some love. But I think at the end of the day, Vince loves his bodybuilders. He loves his Arnolds. Dun, dun, dun. What else we got here? How sweaty do you think this It looks like he's wearing one of those like garbage bag suits for working out. Yeah, he was a big old man. I think, we're looking at 500 plus. And yeah, under all that pleather. There you go. Crash Holly with the pin. 30 seconds on the clock. Crash Holly pins Taz. Taz mission. Taz mission. Oh no. 20. 19. Oh man, but like I said earlier, guys, I love the crowd in these shows. I love the energy in the building. Oh. Wait, what happened there? Okay, a bit wonky finish. Hardcore Holly thinks he won, but Crash Holly kicked out at the last second. And still, you're hardcore champion, Crash Holly. Oh, wait. Bob Holly has the... Wait, did they give it to Bob? Yeah, I don't think anybody knows what happened there. As we're going to the Fan Fest footage, I'm going to skip over that, folks. We'll get into the next match. The Rock. I got Al Snow in the bathroom with Steve Blackman. One thing that happened a lot in old wrestling was there was a lot of bathroom confrontations and moments. We don't do that as much nowadays, but we spent a lot of time in the bathroom in the old wrestling. I'm not sure. I think that goes back to Vince's predilection for shitty humor. Pause. But yeah. All right, Richard's back on the double. If the double attacks Samoa Joe and MJF might have a new challenger. Nah, I don't see it happening. I think the marquee matchup for World's End right now, which we will be here live for, Richard, will be Taz versus MJF. Taz. Wow. Will be Samoa Joe. As sorry, I have every right to get distracted as TNA is coming out to the ring with the lovely Trish Stratus, just celebrating a birthday, looking better than ever. And here comes the wonderful team of Al Snow and Steve Blackman. What a team. He was the Tasmaniac in ECW. Yes, he was. The Taz Mission, the Tazplex. We fit it all in. No, we didn't even. I don't know what Sophie said. Remind me. Even stated why he chose. Yeah, okay, there you go. No, but he and Daniel, to Sophie's credit, I would argue Sophie is correct. He considered it. He was offered it. He did choose to sit out, but he had been tempted. He had considered it. So, you're both kind of right in this regard. Is he was on the verge for sure. And now we get cheese. Oh, son of a bitch. What's up, Bobby? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Good to see you. Is this when WWE had hardcore title? Yes, it is, Alexis. We just had a hardcore battle royal. I'm I think officially. Let's go head cheese, by the way. If anybody remembers that, we went from head to head cheese. Welcome to WrestleMania 2000. As head cheese is a thing. But the GOAT, Trish Stratus, with fellow Canadian Test and Albert. Yeah, amen. Definitely. Was this one of the best manias out there? I think it's one of my top, maybe not my favorite one ever, but I think it's one of my faves. I got a sentimental vibe with this one. You're going back to 2000s. Wrestling was buzzing really well, and you had you get a main event, and it's Mick Foley, Big Show, Triple H, and did I say Mick Foley? But you have all these faces. And the whole McMahon storyline had kind of gotten crazy, so you would tune in for that soap opera each week. So yeah, I like this WrestleMania, to be 100% honest. As Test and Steve Blackman kicking off a tag team match, folks. I used to be a dead guy counter whenever I came back to watch WrestleMania. There's a few, my friend. Excalibur sucks so badly every time he screams, Tiger Driver, I want to backhand him. Listen, I try not to knock anybody's hustle, even if they deserve it. That's a lie. There's some people that I like giving shit to. Excalibur, to me, listen, the mask makes no sense. The mask, he's not Rey Mysterio. I know other podcasters have gone on and on about the mask, so I won't. But yeah, I mean, I just don't take him seriously. His voice, his inflections, again, he doesn't tell a story. Like Excalibur, for being a wrestling guy or a wrestling guru in his own right, watch old wrestling, watch JR, watch other people who have done commentary tell a story. You are supposed to be dictating to the fan base what emotionally they should be going through. You're supposed to, reinforce the visual. And to me, Excalibur on commentary is much like sitting on the couch with your friend. And maybe some people say, well, that's a good thing. No, it's not in this sense, because he's just yelling out what he sees. Oh my God, pile driver. Oh my God. But he's not telling a story. He's not creating the emotion. He's just a fan yelling out what he sees. And to me, it's not enough. And I think that's one of the hindrances. I'll give Tony credit. Tony is loyal to some people, and I think sometimes you do have to put business first and do what's best for the shows. Excalibur should be told to take that mask off and should spend some time. Like you have, Ian Riccaboni, you have Caprice Coleman, you have Taz. You got Nigel. There's people there that really do well on commentary. Yet the two voices we get the most, Tony Schiavone and Excalibur. Tony Schiavone is a great, just fucking add-on guy to scream out things like Sting, but that's about it at this point. But here we go, 2-on-2. I'm just gonna double check. Is this a tornado? No, just a tag team match, player. All right. They went to 2 night manias because they hired way too many people, not enough room to book them all. One of the shows and decided 2 nights means more money, pal. Daniel, you're not wrong. I mean, and that was part of it. It was the influx of talent, but the shows, that Sunday night, that one night main event, your 1 night main event, your 1 night pay-per-view, it got too long. They started making the shows longer and longer and longer. And then again, like you said, when they realized they could book a venue for Saturday and Sunday, tie it into Friday, do the Hall of Fame and such, and make this a WrestleMania weekend, it changed the dynamic for sure. Steve Blackman down on Albert. Too bad the invasion storyline fizzled. Yeah, it just fizzled because of who was involved, right? And again, part of the fizzle was that Vince was just proving a point, right? The fact that he bought the company and had all this talent wasn't enough for Vince. Vince had to visually show everybody, WCW's nothing. So there wasn't a whole lot of WCW getting over. I think they could have done a lot more with it all. But again, I think at the end of the day, you didn't have best on best, right? It was, you know, it was sending the dream team to the Olympics to smash a whole bunch of people. And that's essentially what we got with the invasion, was that the WWE was their house, and they had the better talent, and they dominated the whole situation. So yeah, it fizzled mostly because of Vince and guaranteed contracts. The way this match ends is crazy. Yeah, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit to this one. This one's a little bit slow, so we'll see how close to the end I can get. Oh, I went a little too far. So, all right, there we go. The Hardcore Championship, they seem to have plans for it, kind of what they did with the 24/7 Championship. Well, the Hardcore Championship, the 24/7 Championship, I don't know if you guys remember, but when they put it out there that, they were going to bring back this belt, Mick Foley's going to introduce this belt, a lot of people thought it was going to be the Hardcore Championship. And there's the finish. Big elbow. TNA with the victory. And I'm going to pop ahead a little bit more as Head Cheese is here. And Steve Blackman takes out the big piece of cheese. But yeah, I think it was a watered down Hardcore Champion, right? Like, it was the same concept, which was fun, but with this incarnation of the 24/7 title, it just became watered down. It became hokey. It became the Scooby-Doo gang of like Tozawa and everybody running after, scripts. And we go to the back, who we're with Kat and Moolah. Kat naked, by the way, completely naked, strategic hand placing. Of course, we know Jerry the King Lawler and Kat were an item. Lucky old bastard. And they're holding a cat up to Kat's kitty, essentially. The things that they did back then that they couldn't even consider doing now. And up next, the WWE tag titles are up above the ring as Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys, and the Hardy Boys in one of the most infamous matches ever. We get a triangle ladder match. I'm going to take in a lot of this one, folks. We'll talk a lot about it. You guys can let me know what your favorite ladder matches of the past have been. How do you guys feel about having this one? I mean, this is going back. This is the heyday. This is when tag team wrestling was on fire. As I got Devon testifying. And this is where Bubba was still kind of still had a bit of an accent to him. It's so funny to see the wrestlers that endured, that are still around, like to see them in gimmick, right? Like we joke around about Kofi being Jamaican. Bubba had that stutter at one point, right? The big rim glasses with the tape, like they're the Hanson brothers. Where was I with this? All right. Let's go, head cheese. Damn. Never thought I'd say that out loud on a stream, but thank you, We Are Pro Wrestling, for that. Not something that usually gets applauded. Bum, 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 bum. Too bad we never got Undertaker in this versus Sting. They had many opportunities to do it, and instead we got horrible Undertaker versus Goldberg. Yeah, I think that one's a tricky one. Because to me, like, unless you got it in their prime, sometimes not getting it is better than actually getting it. So I'm glad that we didn't get like older Undertaker versus older Sting in kind of a convoluted here you are have it match. I'm okay with that. I mean, if you could have got them, 2001, 2002, Sting versus Undertaker, Sting's kind of still super popular, had just come off, if Sting wasn't kind of subject to a lot of backstage politics, he had, gold with what he was doing. And Sting versus Undertaker would have been great, but then it would have been, who wins? What happens? I mean, my money's on Taker, but sometimes not getting it is better than getting it when we do get it. As Matt and Jeff Hardy in their prime, Team Extreme. The hardcore title had the 24/7 rule. When Crash Holly was holding it, the 24/7 title was just the 24/7 rule without, yeah, exactly. It was, you took the hardcore title, you took hardcore out of it and just kept the 24/7 rule. So 100% Daniel. And to me that, again, it wasn't the best of decisions. Though I do think R-Truth should bring it back, especially right now when he's fucking around with the Judgment Day and they all got belts and shit. He should show up with that. Look what I found. Here comes Bubba Ray and Devon, the Dudleys. I remember watching Mania on the network. I almost fell asleep during this match. You almost fell asleep during are you talking about the tag match I just watched? Or are you talking about the triple threat? How do you fall asleep during a triple threat ladder match? About Michael Cole and JBL or Michael Cole and Pat? I feel like small sample size with Pat, but a recency bias leans me towards Michael Cole and Pat. JBL and Michael Cole were great too. Michael, come on, Michael. And ding, ding, we're all set. We're fighting we're fighting on the floor right now, folks. I almost felt like saying, like, give me your predictions. Let me know who you think is going to win this one. Dun, 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 dun. This was cool time. We had ECW, WCW, and WWF. Yeah, I mean, that's why we talk a lot about current wrestling. We talk about Impact. We talk about AEW, and we talk about the tribalism a lot. And there was tribalism back in the day. We just didn't have social media to tell each other how shit the other company was. But at the end of the day, I mean, that's what we need to get back to. If TNA coming into 2024 can elevate, if AEW can kind of course correct and get the fire that they once had, because I can't imagine, even if you're the most hardcore of AEW fans, AEW doesn't have the buzz and the heat that it used to have. And then you got WWE that seems to be on fire. If we can get all three companies clicking, that's when wrestling's at its best, because you already see the counter programming against each other. You see companies upping their game because the other company's forcing them to. Competition creates cash, and that's why I want to see it do well. In this time, you think you don't get half the shit. We just had a hardcore battle royal. We're getting a ladder match. These are things that I know earlier we had Razor and Michaels at Mania, but the augmentation of how WWE programming was delivered to fans was greatly affected by the fact that ECW and WCW existed. It's the way it is. It's always been that way. People steal ideas from each other, steal talent from each other. You elevate everybody, and as wrestling fans, we get to pay it off, or we get the payoff of it all. Good morning, Eric Tate. ECW was almost dead during this time. Yeah, well, keep in mind, there was a backdoor deal between WWE or Vince and Paul, where WWE was supplementing a little bit, because Vince, I believed, wanted ECW to stick around as, you know, us against them kind of idea. Plus, he was poaching talent. So eventually the deal with the devil worked out for Vince, and Paulie ends up joining. One of the craziest things is seeing Paul Heyman on commentary, you know, in WWE. Oh, the Hardys taking out Edge with the ladder. It's one of, again, historically, one of the best tag matches, one of the best tag ladder matches, which eventually leads to TLC. Thank God for the network. Before I came, I couldn't get every pay-per-view. Yeah, I mean, it's really cool nowadays. I mean, we talk about having VHS or, you know, DVD or whatever, but it is kind of cool nowadays that you can access just about anything, right? We're spoiled as fans. Yeah, you like the spin on that, do you? Yeah. I know it's controversy, but competition does too. Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys. Bum, bum, bum. I like that one. That horrible Buff Bagwell Booker T match was the reason why WCW Nitro didn't come back under the WWE banner. Yeah. I mean, a lot of reason to that. I mean, yeah, Cat who hated clothes. Yeah, I don't know if it was that match sucked, and the way it was delivered sucked. And I don't necessarily blame the match itself. I think it was a dead promotion walking at anyway. The Invasion storyline did have potential, but the WWE got hit with a lot of injuries as well. Yeah, but you had a lot of talent kicking around, and I still say, I think it was Vince's approach to a lot of it as, ooh, Matt Hardy giving us some, big scoop slam and just dropping the ladder on Edge's Devon. I kind of prefer the new format of WrestleMania. Interesting. And again, I show up for all of them. I listen to all of them. I watch all of them. So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, man, again, I think, I don't know. I mean, taking up my whole weekend, it pisses me off sometimes. I love it. AJ, keep using them. I like it. Be a member. Get yourself your emojis. Diva of the Decade, Trish Stratus. Diva of Forever. Think I said hello to you, Eric. If I didn't, hello. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he did. That's the best. Yeah, like nowadays you couldn't pull that off, right? You can't have a man yelling puppies in reference to a woman, a woman's body parts. It would be offensive and taken away. So, the king in the heyday. I can't wait till you rewatch 2001 Mania. So that will be next week. Maybe next week. We'll see. What are you watching today? Taz is my favorite in ECW. WCW is my favorite is Brian Pillman. Tag is Harlem Heat. Yeah, gotta love Harlem Heat. Oh, Edge and Christian dropping Devon into the ladder. We are watching WrestleMania 2000, if I haven't said that yet. Why does Excalibur have the mask? Why does Excalibur's mask have hair? I don't know. I don't know why Excalibur has a mask. He's not some anointed lucha. It's just something he decided to do. Like, it's not like he has a legacy to protect. It's not like, wow. Christian off the ladder, crossbody to the floor. Both Dudley, Bubba, and Matt go down. I think if you guys, if you haven't seen WrestleMania 2000, I think nowadays we're so used to the carnage and chaos. But at this time, this was so unique. One of the best moments of this match is the spear. Jeff Hardy cut in half. Excalibur is Evil Uno. I like that. All right. Got that one. They had no intention of keeping Nitro. The last episode, last night, it died on TNT. It was done. Yeah, there was the purchasing of WCW did not come with a TV rights deal. If you guys remember, Eric Bischoff was going to buy it. He had some investors. He was going to take it. But at the end of the day, it just, they wouldn't give him the TV rights with it. So Eric felt like it was worthless, and Vince bought it for $4 million. Crazy about the whole fucking shit. But all Vince wanted was the rights, and he wanted the library. That's all he gave a shit about. Low key, this Dudley promo was very foreshadowing. 100%. I miss the old pre-match promos like that. I miss it where they're just kind of telling you what's about to happen. They used to do it for so many of the matches. Luna, you look different. Yeah, it's not Luna Mania this morning. It is KJ Mania this morning. So thank you, Boston. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but we'll accept it. Sting versus Undertaker was rumored before a Mania where we got the first or second Triple H Mania match. Yeah, again, Sting was always very protective. And, oh, this is it. Oh, Bubba, Christian. Neck breaker from the ladders. Both men down. Crowd goes crazy. What's up, Christopher? Great Miss Luna is busy doing her thing. So, yeah, shout out to her. Hope she's doing well. I still can't believe Miss Elizabeth isn't in the Hall of Fame. I know why she isn't. They need to drop that, and she needs to be in there. I get it. The WWE was always worried about press and backstory, and her untimely death was tragic. But we've had other members of the Hall of Fame that have had tragic endings due to, poor choices, bad situations. Angle versus Jericho versus Benoit was a good match. Great match. An outstanding triple threat. And she hadn't told me that. So we are here. And as I said earlier, the show must go on. This is the unofficial first TLC match. Yeah, technically, kind of, sort of. I know they spun it after this. So, but yeah, this definitely set the tone for what we were about to see over the next little bit. As Christian punching Devon, Edge setting up a ladder next to them. Right? A big one. I am posing as the beard today. Double suplex from the ladder. And I love it. Again, it's something that I don't think we get enough of nowadays is the selling. That over the top, like you look like you're in agony. Dun, dun, dun. Remember when Impact thought they could beat Raw? Yeah, that's called a fuck up. And I think that's the first F word I used today. But Sophie, yeah, I think it was a huge mistake, a huge miscalculation on the part of Impact. And again, they were doing good things, TNA at the time. It was a bad move. It cost them a lot of money. and they never really quite recovered from that. But yeah, it was a huge mistake. What's up, Ronnie? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? I used to go to a friend's house to watch every pay-per-view that I couldn't get at home. Oh, both men off the ladder. Neck breaker. Matt Hardy edge down. All the men down. What a great match. What a great match. Bubba wobbling back into the ring. Yeah, I remember being I don't know, I was probably 15, 16, and my aunt's boyfriend, I bought a scrambler off them, and I don't know if everybody else out there understands, but yeah, like an illegal scramble box where you could get everything. And so my place, as you know, we'd get as many people as we could together for that. Plus, I had three brothers, so yeah, the wrestling pay-per-views were pretty exciting around the house. Buff said he was working hurt. Probably. I'll go with it. Triple, yeah. Oh, about the Buff Bagwell shitty match? Yeah. Again, though, it just wasn't put on well. You know what I mean? Like there's no real feel to it. As all four men, or all six. There goes Matt. Oh. Edge and Jeff go out one way. Matt and Christian go out the other. And the Dudleys lay face down in the middle of the ring. Carnage! Triple H was supposed to be part of the Invasion storyline. That's interesting. I don't really know that take on it. That'd be very interesting. This match is lit. This match is excellent. Again, I mean, it makes every, like when you do top tens, it makes the list. It's always talked about, you know, this time where you had the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. You know, it was a time where tag team wrestling was getting a lot of love. Bum bum bum. The new ECW is GCW Hardcore Wrestling now. Japan Hardcore Wrestling is Hardcore Wrestling 2. GCW is kind of fitting that mold for a while there. I think through 2023, I feel like GCW got a little oversaturated for me. But yeah, it was definitely moving into that, the hardcore alternative, right? The blood, the guts. Get the tables! Oh no, we're just high-fiving. There we go. We're getting the tables. I like that one. My favorite match was Angle versus Jericho versus Benoit. It probably was the best match on the card. This match is timeless, 100%. You can put just this match on anytime and you'd be fine. I'm down with KJ Mania. Listen, it wasn't my choice, but I'm here. So, like I said, folks, the show must go on, as this channel has done from the beginning. Is it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. And Mr. Every Night, I guess, is Mr. Every Day right now. So, yeah, it just is what it is. Hope everything is well for everybody. But the channel don't stop for nothing. Is Macho in the Hall of Fame? Yes, Macho's in the Hall of Fame. When are you going to see Iron Claw movie? Too much wrestling going on. Listen, Keyshawn, I don't know. Lately, I've been trying to watch more hockey, more football, try and squeeze in a movie. I randomly watched like the Batman movie. I went and rewatched Batman movies for some reason recently. Then I went through a weird kind of train of like, I watched Pain and Gain and Two Guns, just kind of going back through old movies. But yeah, I really want to see Iron Claw. So I don't know when, because I'm always here doing this. I don't have much of a life. They should do Macho and Elizabeth in the Hall of Fame. Elizabeth needs to be in the Hall of Fame. It's not, I mean, what she meant at that time, she was such a standout. And again, I know why the WWE hasn't done it. But if you're going to put Sharmell in the Hall of Fame, you got to have Elizabeth in the Hall of Fame. The difference between ECW and Impact is nobody would be on forums trade taping to see Impact shows. Yeah, different times, right? I think Impact came on a little bit later than the trade, when trade tape trading was at its peak. So very interesting. This is one of the greatest matches in WrestleMania history, 100% C money. As they've set up the table on top of the two ladders, this infamous spot, table down below. There's just furniture everywhere. Which was your favorite, the triangle ladder matches, TLC 1 or 2? I think just TLC 1 because it was 1. You know, sometimes the sequel, they're both good. They're both so good. But I think the first one I saw, it sticks out, right? The second one always falls in comparison at times. But TLC 1, I think I'm leaning that way. Devon on the announce table. Ah! Splash! Devon misses. Bubba Ray powerbombed Matt. Macho Man is in the Hall of Fame. Facts. Dun, dun, dun. TNA didn't even exist until after ECW was out. Yeah, absolutely. This was the time when the 9.99 Impact pay-per-views were a thing. Yeah, okay. TLZ 0 at WrestleMania 16. Yeah, fair enough, right? This one, I mean, in the series again, it was the first one. It was so unique as a young wrestling fan. This show comes on, or this match comes on, and it was just insane. That one of my favorite spots in the entire match. Jeff Hardy runs across the railing and dives at Bully, who just does the Sabu spot with the ladder. It was one of my favorite spots in this match. I don't know why. I like when the people throw shit. Like when you Sabu a chair, it is excellent. It's such a good visual. I know that. I was saying, okay, I got you. Buff the stuff. Buff Bagwell in WCW was great, man. The airbrushed hats and shit. He just one of those guys that just never got to where he was going. In the Hall of Fame 2024, they should have Bray as the main attraction, like they did with Ray and Vince. Should be in the Hall of Fame. Vince won't do it, I don't think yet. I mean, now is the time, motherfucker. But yeah, I think your marquee. I know Nick and I have discussed would the entire Hall of Fame class be Bray Wyatt? I don't think so. My real big hope is that Triple H can talk Paul Heyman to going into the Hall of Fame in Philly. It just feels right. And Paul, you know, we love Paul. We love what he's doing. He's nowhere near done doing it. But I don't know. WrestleMania 40, Paul Heyman, Philadelphia. It just feels right. Poor Matt. Yeah, poor Matt. And this is one of the most infamous spots coming up right now as Bully Ray put on the table. Jeff Hardy looking up at that ladder. And again, this is where the commentary back then on a different level, on a completely different level. It's Jeff Hardy holding on to this huge ladder. Here it is. Ah! Still plays well. The low camera angle, Jeff Hardy coming into your living room, folding himself in half. And I will listen, Jeff Hardy, I know there's been a lot of talk about 2023 Jeff Hardy, but man, if you look back, it's surprising he's doing as well as he is. Did you hear WWE put Bray Wyatt on a Legends contract? Yes. So I assume that this happened previously than it was reported, but I think it's an amazing thing. And one of the knocks on WWE is they're just the big company doesn't care about anybody. There's been a lot of examples throughout the history, even with Vince, that He was charitable. He had done things to help people. In this case, I think it's great. I really do. And it says a lot for the company that a young family loses, a father, a husband, or a soon-to-be husband. I know JoJo had put out recently about that. But yeah, to show a heart that they're not just, assets. They're not just, your toys to play with, that there's genuine care there. We even talk about we're going into, this Christmas week, and Triple H giving time off, doing pre-tape shows. I think it speaks to the company a little bit, and I give them a whole lot of credit for that. TNA didn't start those $9.99 pay-per-views in 2002. There you go. Okay. I knew it was close. That's why I kind of hesitated, but yeah, this WrestleMania is from 2000. Yeah, so we're close. We're close. Thank you, C Money. Hope you're doing well, sir. Get the tables. And again, the kind of the iconic finish to this match coming up right now, as Edge and Christian on the ladder, holding on to this table for dear life, and Matt Hardy just gets chucked out like yesterday's trash, and the belts get pulled down. And if my memory serves me correct, folks, I was shocked at the time that Edge and Christian were the ones that won. I was convinced either one of the other two teams. But carnage and chaos everywhere. Edge and Christian standing on the table between the two ladders. Again, a lot of iconic spots that still hold up well today from 2000. I mean, 23 years later, and we get some amazing spots, some amazing visuals. Insane. At least Jeff didn't suffer a broken jaw. Well, nobody wants to suffer a broken jaw. And again, the aerial cam. I love the above cam. Matt Hardy just gone. Lenny Poffo inducted. Mach. Yeah, he did. Yeah, Lenny was an interesting cat. But yes, he did. They did put Eddie into the Hall of Fame months after he passed. Yes. Again, there's exceptions to everything. Like Eddie going in, nobody was going to argue with that. I think Bray Wyatt should go in. Some people would argue that his tragic passing didn't allow him to become a Hall of Famer. But to me, I think there was enough there. There's enough there that you honor this guy. The fan base will appreciate it. His family will appreciate it. He deserves it. And I'm all for it. As right now, I got Linda McMahon. Anybody know where Linda McMahon is in 2023? Well, Linda McMahon with Mick Foley, her representative or her pick in the main event elimination match. The biggest match in the history of the WWE. Mick Foley, man, babyface heel, crazy dude, straight up dude. He was perfectly comfortable on that mic. And again, I think what young wrestlers today, we were watching NXT last night, watch some of this stuff where it's just so natural. Again, not nearly as scripted, if at all. They need more of that. We talk about Seth and Punk, not having a producer. We need more of that authenticity. That's what's kind of lacking at times with wrestling. Okay, now I'm going to jump a little ahead. Move this show along as I got Val Venus. Oh, here we go. Mae Young, Moolah. Good old Terry Reynolds. The former Miss Goldust. So Terry with Moolah. And you're going to take on Kat. And Row. I don't think Vince goes in the Hall of Fame until after he passes. Yeah, I don't think you can talk Vince into showing up to get the accolades. It will be post-mortem. I really do believe that. And what do we got? Oh, wrestling used to be so different. Cat coming to the ring basically in mesh. And JR, the King, is just popping. Literally. I'm surprised they didn't put Luke Harper in the Hall of Fame. I think the tricky part sometimes is that the body of work doesn't come to fruition. If you looked at Luke Harper's run, does it warrant a Hall of Fame nomination? And that's the tricky part with this. To me, I think Bray Wyatt got closer to that and making a bit of a stretch to get him in under the circumstance. Yeah. If WWE wanted to kind of do it up, put them both in. Put them both in. As the catfight has begun. So I'm just watching this for my own viewing pleasure at this point, guys. As Val Venus making out with Terry Reynolds, once described by Jim Cornette as full of spunk. The WWE Hall of Fame is a meaningless cash grab and a feel-good circle jerk. Yes, that's what it has become. It didn't always have that. People, and the wrestlers love being honored. The wrestlers love getting their flowers, love having their moment, getting their ring. For me, it became a lot of propaganda, like a lot of things, as the millennium rolled on. This match is horrendous, but at a time where they were just putting scantily clad women in the ring. Moolah trying to flash Val trying to keep the puppies at bay. Oh my god. But it's come, okay, we're in Texas. Who's from Texas? Who can we shove into this? Okay, we're in this city. I mean, listen, I know I pick on it, but Charmel should not be in the Hall of Fame. I know Nick thinks that, like a Tori Wilson. I think I can make a case for Tori Wilson, but there are plenty of names that have gotten in over the last few years that to me weren't Hall of Famers. It was just, it suit the mood, it suit the political climate, it suit the geography of the situation. As Moolah making out with Val Venus. Hello, Grandma. And Terry Reynolds gets chalked out of the ring. Oh, Cat yanked out. This is chaos. Wrestling at a different level, folks. Moolah is making out with Val Venus. Oh, sorry. Mae Young is making out with Val Venus. Moolah is helping Terry Reynolds. Cat is on the outside with no clothes on. And that's the match. 2 minutes and 35 seconds later, Cat loses. There was no pinfall. There was no, I don't know what the fuck just happened. My God. Are you trying to say that Coco Beware and Stacy Keibler and all? Yes, see, money made me laugh. I'm gonna, because he's not here to argue with me right now. Coco Beware is 100%, 150% a Hall of Famer. I know some people want to think back to the Bird in the 80s in the WWE, but Coco had such an amazing career before that. And those who don't, we're getting, Cat is ripping Terry's pants off because that's what we did. And I'll tell you guys a funny story in a second. But we're just, Cat lost the match, wins the, Mae Young and Moolah smacking at each other. And we get a little bonus, a little bonus of Terry Reynolds in a thong. Welcome to the WWE. The King was hilarious. All right, let's skip ahead. Let's get to some real shit. Let's skip ahead. As up next, I don't know if this is right, but we get China And Too Cool taking on the Radicals. The Radicals get done dirty in this whole situation. I'm going to skip this one a little bit. Not my favorite match on the card. But yeah, no, back in the day, that's what the matches ended up being. The women's matches were very much that. I need Tat shirt. I'm not sure what you're saying to me, my guy. Best match of all time. It was ridiculous. But I remember being live, and I was sitting aisle way for a bra and panties match. Tori Wilson, Dawn Marie, and a couple rows ahead of me. We actually had, like, there was a, I don't know, the kid was probably 10 years old at the time. He leaned over and slapped Dawn Marie's ass with all he could. And then him and his three friends got dragged out and they got in trouble. They got to come back, but they were not allowed to stand up for the rest of the show. But we got a lot of that back in the early days, right? Cav vs. Terry was the only singles match on WrestleMania 16. Every other one was a multi-person match. It really is. Triple threats, tag teams, 6-man tags. Because right now, Grandmaster Sexy tags Scotty 2 Hotty in. Eddie Guerrero with the back body drop. I miss these kinds of matches. I think there's a large contingent of male fans that miss these kind of matches. It's weird because I feel like the world at large, you have more access to that type of content. And then internally, it's come all the way, it's gone a different way, right? So it's a weird times. I mean, I much prefer watching the solid wrestling that we get out of some of the ladies nowadays. You know, that was just completely ridiculous and not unnecessary. But I'm sure there's the young gentlemen out there kind of miss it. Mad Guy yeeted hard. Edge and Christian for the win. Attitude Era had its time and place and resulted in a response to WWF getting their asses kicked by WCW. Trying to recreate it would be force and hokey. Yeah, you got to be of the times, right? And I think that's what, at the time when everybody was like anti-establishment, WCW comes in and you get all these crazy segments that look, you know, different, feel different. You're getting Rey Mysterio chucked like a spear into trailers in the back, and it's chaos. The WWE responded, and they've always done that. They've always augmented to fit the moment. In that moment in time, they went all out, right? Like, one show had Major Guns, and the other one had this. So, we get the Worm, Double Worm, Dean Malenko, Saturn. Again, I feel bad. Saturn was underutilized for me. About the not talked about TLC 4. What about it? Zombie Linda. Still one of the... yeah. That whole storyline, my guy. Oh, my God. Linda somewhere collecting alimony payments from Vince. No, I think she on... I don't think it's alimony. Because I think you... correct me if I'm wrong. They still together. Right now, China trying to get at Eddie. Ironic considering how this plays out in the future. I got Big Show. What's up? What's up, buddy? How you doing? Big Show for the win or Big Show in the Hall of Fame? I mean, again, if you can make it work, but we know where Paul White is currently hanging out. A McMahon in every corner. Yeah. Again, crazy to look back and see a McMahon in every corner, right? I got the standings of the next night on Raw. I got a standing. Oh, the next night on Raw. Oh, the TLC guys? 100%. Yes. Yeah. Huge moment. Again, you hadn't really, especially a WWF audience, never really had that before, right? Never got that type of, pageantry, that type of chaos, that type of, these guys are really putting their body on the lines and giving us something different. And yeah, they definitely got a standing O. I thought you meant Kat and and Terry Reynolds. Linda McMahon was in Trump's cabinet. Was she? That sounds about right. Yeah, that makes sense to me. Mae Young's memoir. I birthed the hand. What did what'd you do today? Again, looking back, asinine. Even at the time, one of the dumbest things ever in wrestling. I don't know who thought it was a good idea. Ridiculous. As here comes China, double clothesline. And all she wants to do is get her hands on Eddie at this point. But scoop slam. You almost like she doesn't know what to do with herself. Tumble back elbow, double back elbow. China on fire. The late great China. Double low blow. And Eddie jumps her from behind. What's up, Kevin? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Thank you for stopping by here today. Eddie was an awesome heel. I saw him wrestle Ray at San Diego at SD SmackDown of San Diego in Tucson. I was like, Tucson's not there. No, that's awesome, dude. And of course, Eddie and Ray, some classic matches. As right now, China throwing bows. Ooh, big old fist of the Latino heat. Do they out Bray and Luke? Do they put Bray and Luke together? Yeah, I kind of thought maybe, you could kind of do it. Why not? I wonder if the connection with AEW or anything makes them hesitate. Of course, I believe it's Amanda Hubbard is still working with AEW. So I don't know. I believe she still is anyway. But I think it would be really cool if Luke and Bray went in together. I think it would be awesome. But there you go. China and Too Cool. The first time ever the Radicals are at WrestleMania. Eddie takes the pin to China. Crazy. Got that one. It's hard to believe. I mean, nowadays wrestling fans are so critical of every little detail. Trust me, this is what we do here. We find the flaws in shit. But you look at this card, and nowadays, if you had presented a card like this, where are all the singles matches? Why is this not being defended? Why is that not happening? Then it was just kind of like, yay, it's happening. All right, I'm going to skip ahead. We're getting late in the day. I got some other shit to do, and I am back tonight for Dynamite. And up next, I think the best match of the night, going back to one of my favorite entrances of the time, Chris Jericho. But yeah, we're getting a triple threat. Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho coming up next. And again, I think the best match on the card. I mean, they're following Kat and Terry and the Radicals versus Too Cool in China. So they had set this one up nice for some success. Best match of all time. I am cooked shirt, vintage Val Venus shirt. I like it. I misread that. I really did, but we're gonna move on. Yo, what's up, King Kevin? How you doing? What a sad time to be a female wrestler. Yeah, I mean, again, it was all about the nonsense, the tomfoolery, getting you naked. You weren't really female wrestlers at that time. There were some, Trish, we saw, and she's at the point where she's figuring her life out, or figuring her career out. She's just kind of a valet at this point, but she's training to do more. But yeah, I mean, that's where you weren't getting a whole lot of that. And where people think about, like, the Bellas did so much for women's wrestling, they didn't. They really didn't. You got to go back to the Litas and the Trishas, the Molly Hollies, the Ivories, that also did those matches, but we're in a lot of cases not happy about doing them. Latino Heat. Jericho drop kick in. Kurt Angle and Benoit off the apron. At the time, Jeff Jarrett was wearing was tearing it up on WC. Yeah, Slapnuts. That's right around where Slapnuts showed up. Are you watching on Peacock? We don't have Peacock in Canada, my bud. Essentially, same idea though. Watching the network, so have it on an app and basically have the archive. So that is where I'm watching it. I didn't have the fancy VHS that some others do. Triple threat cage match. There's no cage in this one. Or you're talking to Keyshawn. The King had his wife and his son wrestle in back-to-back matches at WrestleMania. Facts. Funny, now that you think about that. I didn't even mention that. That was sad, the way they trotted Paul White out behind Jericho and Omega when he can barely walk, almost like when Andre's knees were shot to all hell. Listen, yeah, I mean, we can debate this all we want, and we've talked about this quite a bit on the channel, but yeah, the use of Paul White didn't make sense for me. Everyone's talking about like, oh, look, Paul White put Hobbs over that big spot. Where's Hobbs been? What's Hobbs doing now? That Hobbs is this big badass that took out the Big Show. Where's Hobbs? How did you translate that big moment, taking out a legend, into more for Hobbs? It hasn't. There's no continuity. There's no story beyond that. Paul White, yeah, Paul White's a shell of what he used to be. He will always be, the Big Show. 2 count. Kurt Angle kicks out. Oh. And listen, yeah, so I mean, again, it was a bit sad. He didn't even get in the ring. Him being involved with Jericho and Omega didn't make sense. Jericho and Omega didn't really make sense. If you went back to their last promo, it didn't go well. And then, we'll see what happens now. Who is Jericho going to latch on to now that Kenny is out? Part of me joked that, Kenny would do anything to get away from Jericho. Hardest versus Dudley and E and C, best match on the card. Hardy's, yeah. Yeah, you know what? In all fairness, for the time, the reason I feel the triple threat, again, a little more traditional, but I love this match. This triple threat match is insane. And you got a young Kurt Angle still trying to figure it out. Jericho's trying to prove to the WWE world that he belongs at this point. And, well, Benoit's Benoit. We'll leave it at that. What do you say? At the moment, I'm watching Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman on Raw on WWE Network. By the way, I'm not good. I'm very down. Well, King Kevin, I'm sorry you're very down. I'm glad you're watching some wrestling. And hopefully we can cheer you up a little bit. Latino Heat. I got that one. Mamacita. Yeah, it's just so funny to think. Like, again, we live in a world where everything kind of gets instantly critiqued. Could you imagine you brought in like, a hot faction, the Radicals are here, and it's Dean Malenko, it's Perry Saturn, it's Eddie Guerrero, and they do a job at WrestleMania to China and Too Cool. Crazy, right? You don't think about that. It's just different times. He should have never been involved in that Angle match. He looked crippled. Yeah, it's not a good look. Listen, I'm going to save some of this for later tonight, and you guys can all come back and talk Dynamite with me. But here's the problem. AEW, shedding. AEW is supposed to be the young, hip, energetic, the fresh stars, the edgy wrestling company. Bringing out guys like Ric Flair, bringing out the Big Show. I love them. Again, there's a nostalgia side to it for sure. But Hobbs putting an actual healthy, young, competitive wrestler through the hood of a car is a much better visual for me. And then, again, if you're going to do these moments, if you're going to set up these big, oh my God moments, what does it mean for the show? All right, Hobbs has this moment, big scoop slam, show bounces off the hood of the car. Then what? What did it mean for Hobbs? Nothing. And if you think of those moments, like imagine Shawn Michaels super kicks Marty Jannetty and throws him through the glass, but next week you don't see him, or the week after you don't see him, or the week after, you're not building on, you have oh my God, one of the most iconic moments we talk about when it comes to turns, but without follow-up, it meant nothing. Without Shawn Michaels going on to be the Heartbreak Kid, it meant nothing. So that moment, cool moment, before the moment wasn't good, and after the moment, it meant nothing. Angle and Lesnar are at SummerSlam 2002 was epic. An amazing match. You're not wrong at all, AJ. How's everyone doing, Ronnie? Good to see you. Break the walls down. Still, to this day, see money. If I put on the Jericho's introduction to the WWE and the Rock in the ring and the countdown hitting, I to this day get goosebumps. I still think it's one of the best things ever. And being that I spent the better part of 2023 shitting all over Chris Jericho, man, I mean, there was a time where I absolutely adored that guy. I thought he was outstanding. Flying headbutt by Benoit and gets the 3. So that's one of 2 falls, by the way. So technically, Chris Benoit is your new Intercontinental Champion right now, but we now have a European title match. So there you go. We win the IC title, and now the European title on the line. That's AEW for you. Yeah, it can be. I love it, but I hate it. The Golden KJ for MVP host goes to KJ. The channel wouldn't be the same without you, dude. Boston, that means a world of you almost got me stumbling on my words. It means the world to me, man. I appreciate that. I love doing this. I love that we've created this family here. I couldn't do it without a team around me. We've had some people come and go. We've had some people stick around. Again, my partner in crime, Mr. Big Nick. Big shout out to him out there. But I don't see myself as the MVP, but I do show up every single day and try and bust out content, make the visuals, do everything I can to give you guys an experience and enjoy your time here. So thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your compliments. And yeah, like I said, I wasn't planning to be here for a WrestleMania watch along, but when we promise content to our fans, we got to deliver. And sometimes we got to be mature and professional and show up and show out. And if I do that and you guys enjoy it, I can't thank you enough. Getting all sentimental here on a Wednesday. I'm honestly shocked that Khan hasn't rented out Adam Sandler to pretend to be Waterboy and escort him to the ring as Captain Insano. Well, listen, we don't know that he hasn't tried. Adam Sandler might be like, I'm not doing Waterboy. I'm 60 years old now. But yeah, we don't know. We don't know. Angle had the best rookie year in WWE, holding 2 titles into WrestleMania. Yeah, I mean, Angle as close to a natural as you could get. And I remember when he first came in and he was running the 3 eyes and everybody hated him. But man, he got in that ring and he had matches. And then you look at the other 2 he's in the ring with. And Chris Jericho's right. Chris Jericho is one of the best that ever did it. He might not be as good as he thinks he is. He might not be working at the level that he thinks he is. But historically, you can't take away what he's done. And then Benoit, horrible, horrible fucking ending to his story. We understand why, but what he did in that ring. Recently heard Undertaker talk about Benoit of being one of the best he ever worked with. Wow, spinning heel kick by Jericho. As right now we're looking for a European champion. I love this match. The pace of this match is what I loved. And again, not a lot of lying around. It was a lot of transition, a lot of, don't take your eye off the ball. Double power bomb by Jericho. Right, don't give him any ideas. Angle versus Lesnar, SummerSlam 2003 was epic. I was there. Okay, there you go. That would have been a good one to go to. Wow. Benoit in the bridge. Angle breaks it up. Yeah, like when Angle, Lesnar, that the whole time period in that area, right around 2000, 2001, 2002. I kind of had some little wrestling aspirations of my own, and definitely wanted to be like the Kurt Angle type. China was ahead of her time before the Lita and Trish main event on Raw, before Four Horsewomen, before Women's Revolution. China was changing women's wrestling and even fought for equal pay. Yeah, listen, I understand how China's story worked out. And I think sometimes because of how the WWE functions a lot, I mean, Jericho tapping, no ref. No ref. What are we going to do? There's no ref. But yeah, you can't take away from China. Triple H and Michael saw something in her, and she was different. I mean, there was others that tried to be her, and it never worked out. But yeah, she was one of the first ladies who. She was the first that really, you saw her in there winning titles. You saw her in there scoop slamming the men, and nobody thought, well, this is dumb. Because if you saw her, you're like, yeah, she'd probably whoop my fucking ass too. So all the kudos goes out to her for that. Definitely a trailblazer. Unfortunate, tragic story, but yeah, it's undeniable. I think people forget some of that stuff, right? Y2J will be better singles wrestler versus MJF, in my opinion. Will be a better singles wrestler. Like, you mean Y2J at his prime versus MJF now? That's a tough one. That is a tough question. It's a different times, different plays. It's so hard to compare. Lion Salt. And there it is. Y2J. Your European champion. And poor Kurt leaves beltless. They screwed an American hero. Oh no. Monkey on typewriter. Monkeys on typewriters on a pole. King of the Cocaine Mountain match. Book it. There you go. Just shove it all together. All of it. All the things. The European Championship is one of my favorite titles. It's crazy, and maybe I'll ask whoever's watching. I see a good amount of people hanging out right now. There's such an affection, a fondness, if you will, for the European Championship. I don't know if it's just because it's gone and it's never coming, or it might never come back, but there just seems like such a fondness for the European title. It's crazy. Who think the hardcore 24/7 was best? Who thinks? Nobody, Kevin. Wow, Angle looks so long. It's just so weird seeing Kurt Angle with hair. Yeah. There we go. Vince McMahon with a young Michael Cole. I love it. I love it. Vince puts Moppy, Saturn, and Maury Povich in a segment. Perry, you are the father. Dude, listen, I said this earlier, and I didn't go too far into it, but I was a huge Perry Saturn fan. I thought Saturn was excellent. The Rings of Saturn, the attitude, working with the flock. And then when he signed, I was like, oh my God, dude, Saturn. And then he slowly became a fucking joke. And it made me very sad that, to me, Perry Saturn never amounted to anything in the WWF or WWE. And again, I feel like a lot of that was Vinceisms, right? Where there were certain people that he almost felt like he had to humiliate. All right, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit. There's still way too much of this show left. As I got I almost have to do it, right? Because, wait, I missed it. Here comes DX, X-Pac, and Road Dogg. Coming out to the Run DMC remix. TK thinks he's the greatest promoter because he threw the most money into the business. Yeah, no. Again, one has nothing to do with the other. One doesn't equate to the other. And again, in a world where, because you threw a bunch of money at something, but if you wasted that money, does that make you good or bad? Right? I like what TK did. I'm grateful that TK decided to start a wrestling company. Everything from the original All In to getting the company off the ground. Thank you. We've had some amazing wrestling moments because of Tony Khan. 2 tears in a bucket. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna skip ahead a little as here comes Rikishi. Rikishi and Kane. Oh my God, what do we got? Yeah, Kane and Rikishi taking on DX, X-Pac, and the Road Dogg with Tori. Not the good one. That's literally how he framed that Ring of Honor scrum. What a dope. Yeah, listen, I haven't fully listened to the Ring of Honor scrum because how could you? He did a 5-hour pay-per-view for Ring of Honor. Fucking bad booking, bad promoting, bad choice. The problem with Tony Khan is at this point in history, I think everybody sees through the bullshit. Yeah, there's some diehards out there that, think he pisses Skittles and is just fucking wonderful. He's a great guy, a big heart, but I think he's being taken advantage of. I think smarter people are outthinking him, are using him for his money. He's basically a walking AT fucking M. And yeah, I mean, this whole idea that, I put money in. So what if you wasted your money? Like, I throw a fucking $1,000,000 into a car in my backyard and the car's still a piece of shit. I didn't accomplish nothing. I'm no world record, fucking mechanic. At the end of the day, the results are what matters. And right now, the results for Tony and AEW aren't there. They're not. Like, is anybody out there right now like pumped, like super pumped for World's End? I can't wait till World's End. We're a couple weeks away. Was anyone out there like, I can't fucking wait for Final Battle? No, Final Battle was on a Friday. Like, it was ridiculous. And yeah, I had some good moments. I'm not hating on the card, but it was 5 hours. Didn't have to be. It's not fucking WrestleMania. It's not Full Gear or All Out. I can tolerate a 4 or 5 hour show for something that's big, that matters. Why was that not a 3 hour show? We watched NXT Deadline the week before, just about 3 hours, in and out, 5 matches, 6 matches, whatever the fuck it was, in, out, clean, clear, enjoyed it. Period. 5 hours. It doesn't matter what you do in that 4th hour because it's exhausting. And I know fans, you're going to complain about getting a 5 hour. Yeah, I am. Because there's not 5 hours of content there. We got a Nyla Rose match. Come on, help me. The problem with Tony, like Tony to me, and some of the diehards with Tony, it just comes off as like the woke wrestling fans. Like, you don't get it. No, we're telling you the truth and you don't want to hear it. And that's where other people, like, you can't say anything. You can't even imply like, oh, this is bad, because they're like, you just hate, and they tuck tail and run. They don't even have a conversation with you. They just leave. And that's unfortunate. That's disappointing. That to me is the problem with AEW. They don't want to hear the truth. Tony's saying they're on the best run they've ever been. It's not true. Jericho thinks he's on the best run he's ever had. It's not true. What is compelling? What is the most interesting thing in AEW right now? The backstage shit, not the on product. What on AEW right now is selling you? And I will talk about this more tonight, folks. But Kane and Rikishi with the win. All right, we're gonna jump. As Too Cool, the gobbledygookers here, and we're getting a big old mascot dance off. And then Kane choke slams Pete Rose. Is that Pete Rose again? Yeah, Pete Rose. There you go. And then, yeah, we're just embarrassing Pete Rose altogether. And here comes The Rock, spitting fire. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right, that's my long-winded speech. Ted Turner threw money at it. Listen, and yeah, technically, I would love to go back and check that statement because Ted Turner was not like you think of the budget that Eric Bischoff had access to, the signings of Hogan, Macho Man, and then the whole fucking list of WWF talent, the the venues, the production. He spent a shit ton of money. So I don't even know how accurate all of it is, but you're not wrong. It's a vanity project. He wants praise. If you want praise, earn it. Period. And if you can't take criticism, get out, quit, walk away, give up. The golden KJ for worst wrestler is Nikita Lyons. Oh, Richard. Oh, Richard, what are you saying? A, she hasn't wrestled much. And B, I'd give that award to several other people. He's like Veruca Salt. I want it now. Give me attention. This is what we said. We talked about him, oh, did you see Tony? He got Disco Inferno. Yeah, but do you see, like, Tony, for me, has a perfect example of, like, all right, all I got to do is conduct myself professionally. Like, again, you don't see Triple H out there fucking around. Triple H is about business. Even the media scrums. Triple H, I believe, purposely, the last media scrum, did his little spiel. Ticket sales were good. Merch was good. CM Punk's back. I'll take 4 or 5 questions. Now I'm going to step away so the real stars can have the spotlight. That's what he's supposed to do. Tony's sitting there like this. All media scrum. Oh, did you hear what he said? Oh, he's awesome. You are awesome. You did such a good job. And that's what started souring me on the whole situation, is being told it was great, even though I was watching it wasn't. And I will remind everybody, I said it a million fucking times. I started all this to defend AEW. And things changed. Here comes Mick Foley with Linda McMahon. The list of 1,000 holds. Oh, one of the best ever, my guy. The funniest shit was they go through commercial break and he's still doing it. You come back out of that commercial break and he's still doing it. And he's got the old, like, the old paper with, like, the holes on the side for the old printers. Yeah, Ted Turner never lost $34 million in a year. We're going to say probably not. What was I feel like Bischoff, they were, like, desperately in the hole when they got sold, though. Two Dudes with Attitudes, a wrestling podcast. Shout out. Good to see you. I think WrestleMania 2000 is one of the worst manias of all time, but I think it showed that the future was bright with the young talent in WWE at the time. I'll be honest, I kind of have a fondness for this one. I think maybe time and place for me. And there was some things that stood out. And I mean, as a wrestling fan at the time, you're heading into this big McMahon-omania, right? Like The Rock and Mick Foley. But yeah, there was some components missing. No Undertaker. No big singles matches. I really love the triple threat match we got with Angle and Benoit. We get kind of the onset of the tag team boom with the Dudleys, Hardys, and Edge and Christian. Yeah, is it going to go down as one of the greatest? Nah. And that's fine. I mean, at the end of the day, I just think it was definitely kind of on the verge, to your point, that more was to come. And it did boom past that, right? There's a young Paul White, short hair and all. Dun, dun, dun. I used to have a replica European championship. Like I said, people love that championship. They're just like, bring back the European title. All the time. WWE should have seriously banned the flying headbutt move years ago, so Benoit couldn't end up with brain damage. You know what? I won't dive too far into that. Again, I think if any move can be done right without taking a big, the big shake to the cranium, probably a good thing. It wasn't just a headbutt, but it was certainly didn't help. Yeah, no, we're not. Yeah, I don't want to dive too far into that. But Dynamite Kid not to do the headbutt, and Dynamite wound up paralyzed. Yeah, Dynamite Kid, one of my faves as a child, and a very tragic story. I'm hoping in the future I can make an event. Yeah, Kevin, if you can, you can get there. Get there. Events. I mean, there's nothing like a live crowd. And like I said, one of my favorite things about watching the old Manias, old pay-per-views, maybe we'll do a Rumble watch, like we'll watch other pay-per-views as well, not just Mania, but is the crowd, the audience. It was the vibe in the building is so different. And nowadays I think there's too many audiences that sorry, I got a timeout. I got a timeout. One of my favorite entrances ever. Entrance songs. Triple H. My time. Yeah, when Triple H had figured this out, the man. He's my GOAT, folks. What can I say? This match for the European Championship is what they're doing right now for the US title and IC title, making them meaningful. And that's why WWE is doing stuff right now. Yeah, I mean, even when Triple H transitioned and you saw that, he gave us like IC title and US title, like historical vignettes to remind people that those belts mattered. They weren't just throwaways, that those quote unquote TV titles matter. A month with Luna, we cope. I think we'll be okay, my guy. We'll be okay. We'll be okay. China Love trips or going to Steph crushed her. China Love trips. Yeah, no, I mean you read that story. It's heartbreaking, and I've seen her talk about it, and essentially it kind of begins her spiraling downward, right? Like because what happened with Triple H and Stephanie ultimately affects her career negatively. She finds herself on the outs, and then she never regains it, and then ends up in bad situations with bad people. It's unfortunate. It really is. It's I wish she was still here to get the accolades and the flowers that she deserves. I used to have a replica European Championship. Got that one. What a maneuver! That's what, dude. I love it. What a maneuver! What a maneuver! But ding, ding, ding on the fatal four-way. And again, you just look at the magnitude of who's in it, though, right? The Big Show, Triple H, The Rock, Mick Foley, Elimination. The OG WCW guys, Vince did not respect. Yeah, and again, it was just it's Vince's fucking bravado, right? Like at the end of the day, Vince is just Vince, and the genetic jackhammer, my dick a swingeth, like that. That's Vince in a nutshell. Of just what are we doing here? Like, why is this happening? And again, he took every opportunity to put people in their place as the place that he believed they were. So if he didn't respect somebody and he got his hands on him, he'd sign somebody he didn't respect, but then booked them like he didn't respect them. People getting annihilated and embarrassed, again, just a different time. And I don't want to take away from everything that the man accomplished, but Vince has got a big ego, no doubt, and used it. Jeff Jarrett is definitely outthinking him. You stop it, Keyshawn. The potentant of the potentant of that. Why is that word so hard to say out loud? Of posterities. I can't even say it all together. Man, I miss go JR. Yeah, I don't have the southern accent. It doesn't work out. I don't even think that's accurately spelled. But yeah, we'll go with that. The potato of posterities. Big Show, Triple H up over his head. Double J, baby. I miss Double J. I don't like what I'm dealing with now. Everyone literally had a sign. The signs. I remember as a fan sitting and making signs. Like, we couldn't wait, even at house shows. We couldn't wait to go with our big signs. Like, woo. One of Khan's biggest problems is thinking he's a goose that always lays golden eggs and can't take criticism at all. And if anyone tries to give him advice, he sees it as a personal attack. That's a problem. It really is a problem. You got to put good people around you. And at the end of the day, again, I think we do it a lot here. Like, people will do it to us. Like, the sensitivity of certain people blow my fucking mind. It really does. You can't say anything. You can't give them feedback. And again, like, we've watched them in 20. Oh, I think we're on the best run of pay-per-views. They're not. I'm an AEW fan. 2022 was a better year in AEW than 2023 was. 21 was better than 22. Like, that's the problem I'm seeing with AEW. And as long as Tony puts on the blinders and thinks he's he's the guy who's just like, swish, swish, swish. Dude, you're bricking, and you got to be honest about it. It's like Mr. Burns fucking playing golf. I can remember attending, and it was almost impossible to see a thing. Yeah, you did it. Hey, bud. As all four men are going at it, everyone trying to take out the Big Show. Got that one. Only people who are still supporting everything they do are the New Japan, Stardom, and Ring of Honor diehard marks. Again, Nick and I put out a question to the wrestling world. Do you require the fan base, that fan base, that hardcore, to just be honest? Right? Like, I don't get it. Like, if you're a diehard Marvel movie fan and Marvel puts out something garbage, which they have, do you just go, this is great, and oh, yay? Like, is that how it works? Or do you have some type of critical opinion? And again, if you're too dense or dumb to decipher between the two, between being critical and being honest, I don't know what to tell you. But to me, I don't know why you have to just be, don't watch it if you don't like it. No, I did like it. I am a fan of it. It's just not giving me what I'm hoping for. All right. No different than one of your favorite shows puts out a season that's hot garbage. It happens. It happens. Doesn't mean I hated the previous 3 seasons. As the Big Show gets eliminated by The Rock. Shane O'Mac down. Shane O'Mac down. I think they did lose about 34 million when the AOL time. I think they were like huge. Like, I think they were huge in the hole. I can't remember the number, but yeah, when the scale tipped, yeah. Jim Ross should have sold a line of waterproof bibs for babies and called it the Slobber Knockers. I love that. I think that's excellent. You get a star. I like that one. We survived Y2K. What a scam. Listen, man. And for a long time, the world has functioned on fear. Turn on the news, you'll see it. That's all we want to do is fear and negativity. And Y2K was a perfect example of that. The world was going to end. Well, when the clock turned midnight on the year 2000, yeah, the only thing that wasn't functioning properly was me. Yeah. Vince waving bye to Shane. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. But yeah, I mean, Y2K was bullshit. Remember 2012? Yeah, that was bullshit too. Oh, the Mayans had a calendar, and they know. We all better start buying. Yeah, listen, the planet might be in rough shape, but we talk a lot of shit. Benoit's first Mania, Jericho's first Mania, Kurt Angle's first Mania, the Radicals' first Mania, Trish Stratus. Yeah, I'm bang on. I mean, we talked about it earlier. The Radicals come in. I'm a little surprised that they took the L, but that was Vince being Vince. A lot, and Jericho's just getting started. Kind of in his groove. The Radicals just come on the scene. Trish isn't Trish that we know and love at that point. She's just kind of your valet you know, the beautiful, you know, T and TNA. So yeah, I mean, definitely heading in the right direction. But right now, Triple H and The Rock are trying to come to a conclusion and decide to work over. Oh no, The Rock wanted to go after Mick Foley, but Triple H instead. Mick Foley and Triple H, The Rock are stomping Triple H. The Rock says, yeah, says 60 million in 2000. That sounds about right, C Money. I do know that because they had spent so much money and so many guaranteed contracts and so many things that didn't work out well, that they were deep in the hole. But if you're going to use that as a marker, do you really want to be Tony Khan and going, well, we didn't lose as much as them when they went out of business, when they ceased to exist? Probably not the best choice. The Rock says, millions and millions. Triple H tossed the outside, both men following. That's insane. Yeah, they were just very similar, right? How many times have we seen my buddy Nick give us the WCW sign in the air? For that reason, it's Tony Khan. If the reports are accurate out there now, like, you know, he made a whole lot of money this year, but he spent more. That's a problem. And I know people out there think, well, it's not a problem. He's got so much money, he can lose money. Sure, for how long? Triple H left with Stephanie, but nobody told China till they were gone. Then she wound up with Waltman, and they just made things even worse. Yeah, I guess the story I've heard from China, you know, that she stumbled on a letter that in his bag or whatever about, you know, how much Stephanie loved him and blah 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 blah. So yeah, heartbreaking. And again, they played it off, they played it down like it wasn't happening, but at the end of the day, it was. Go on to this. It's all about the game and how you play it. No, I like the one. I like My Time Is Now. That you know, the flashing lights, the spitting in the air. That's when he made that famous. Is this thing on? I'm watching Santa Bubba Dudley versus Tajiricalicious. Tajira Claus. There you go. Good old Christmas matches. Keyshawn, adjust that to inflation. It's 100. Mick Foley with the barbed wire 2-4. The Kiss My Ass Club. Yep. Vince was a big fan of the Kiss My Ass Club. Barbed wire to the abdomen. Triple H swinging it. The Rock back in. Classic stuff. Yeah, the Kiss My Ass Club. Again, you just never thought you'd be sitting there watching as a fan going like, they won't do it. They won't do it. But a lot of them did it. The lady doing WrestleMania reaction looks very different today. I accept that. Jonathan Majors was just fired by Marvel Studios. So much for Avengers, the Kang Dynasty. Now it will be called Avengers 5. Interesting. I don't know how much of that's true. I know Majors had an issue, but yeah, I mean, guys, perfect example, right? Like when people say, well, you can't, you just enjoy it. Well, no, I'm not supposed to just enjoy it. Well, then don't watch. Well, but I want to watch. Like, fuck, help me out here, right? Like, I will see the Marvel movies. I will see the next, you know, edition of what they do. I hope it's good. I hope they don't fuck it up. But if they do, I'll tell you they did. Right? Has anyone gone to something, a movie or a concert that didn't go well, and but still told people it was good just because I'm grateful they did it? Nah, that's fucking bullshit. That's some fucking 2023 millennial nonsense. My ex-wife said the same thing. You're not giving me what I'm looking for. Facts. Been there, my guy. Who's muted? Am I muted? Can you hear me? Are you tripping me out, Seaman? Are you playing with my emotions right now? Look on the bright side. You could have 4 ex-wives like Flair. Yeah, I don't know how that man did that shit. One's enough. But now I have Blue Chew from Sean Ross Ron Sappy. There's a weird way to put it. The world is better. There's a joke in there, but I hope, if you got the chew, you got the partner too. Hard to take a journalist serious if they are sap. Kind of built right in. I don't really have an issue with sap though. I mean, he comes off a little pompous at times, but he seems to at least genuinely be doing his homework. AW is in year 4 though. That's the thing. And that's where I said, when they use like WCW as like a defense, well, look what they did. You don't want that defense because things went horribly, for them. Eventually. Here's the thing. You talk about expansion teams, expansion business, year 4, year 5, you better be clicking. And I would argue that year 1, year 2, were better years. Does AEW as a product right now feel hot? Does it feel exciting? Like, is there a buzz? I don't think it's there the way it used to be. The Rock, Irish Whip, Mick Foley in the corner. Triple H is down. Double arc DDT. The Rock sells like a mofo. 2. WCW had 13 years. Well, I mean, their history goes back even longer than that. Tony Khan need to realize WCW had really high ratings, and the network's executives still got rid of them. And yeah, well-rounded Leo, good to see you. I do think that's part of the whole conversation, right? Like, again, don't repeat the mistakes. Learn from the past. Don't repeat it. And I think sometimes where you talk about the networks and the censoring and the blood and this and that, nobody is infallible. Nobody is, beyond approach to, with this one. If the network execs get together and decide they just don't want wrestling anymore, you could fall victim to that. If they don't want certain things, don't like certain styles or certain presentations, they can be fickle. They can change their mind. And right now, I mean, one of the craziest stories heading into 2024 is the rights with Tony Khan and Warner Brothers, and now WWE and Warner Brothers. Where does it go? Stomping. That's not even the issue. I don't care that Tony is losing money. I don't care either, 100%. For me, I care that the money is being lost because that means the product is doing bad. And it means TV rights go away. 2 count. Rock refuses to stay down. Triple H and Mick Foley doing all they can. The People's Champ fighting through. Yeah, I don't care about the ratings in the sense of like I'm not watching the ratings and basing my opinion on the company on the ratings. The fuck? I'm not overly concerned about how much I don't care. My biggest concern is what are you putting on TV? So if you're spending so much money on talent that you're in the hole, well, that talent better be in the ring and delivering. Your show's got to be shiny. The production's got to be clean. And that hasn't been the case for Tony in 2023. A lot of botches in the ring, a lot of botches out the ring, production botches. You watch the product and go, okay, you're spending all this money. Are you maximizing your dollars? Are you able to compete? And again, if the numbers go down and the numbers don't get better, to your point, it goes away. If they lose their TV deal, it changes the dynamic of all of this. And I've said it, and I'll be very clear to say it again. I do not want AEW to go anywhere. I started doing all this to cover AEW, and I never expected at this point to kind of be so sour about what AEW is doing. And I think my biggest problem is they're not doing well, but I'm being told they are. Like, don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining, right? What were your thoughts on The Rock and the Big Show in Royal Rumble 2000? The Rock's feet technically touched first. Yeah, I mean, it's one of those old fallacies, right? Like, we're one of those old stories that go down in lore of, shit, we had a plan. It didn't work out as planned. How are we going to make it work? So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it is what it is looking back. But, yeah, technically, The Rock was out. Triple H right now coordinating with Mick Foley. The Rock on the announce table. Foley up on the second rope. Here we go. And here goes Mick. Doesn't make it. Mick Foley jumps off the second rope and falls short and smashes his sternum on the table. JR. God almighty. God almighty. I wonder if anyone in a drought-stricken area ever watched a Triple H match and got pissed off. The ultimate indulgence. This motherfucker just wasting water. How dare he? What the heck is Kang anyway, right? Right? It's a shame that Triple H and The Rock never main evented WrestleMania in one-on-one match. Listen, as literally, Triple H is my guy. I think there was some other opportunities there, but I mean, could him and The Rock done business, like good business on a main event level, like for that? Yeah, for sure. Linda clapping. Linda's excited. Oh, Triple H mad at the ref. Merry Christmas. I want WWE to have a Starrcade event. Interesting. We've seen them, use some of the old WCW licensing and put on shows. I mean, it would be cool. Do it up. Even if it's an NXT Starrcade, I could see that working. Foley is God. Foley's great. He eats another chair shot. Linda's concerned. What are we going to do? McMahon-omania running wild. They weren't like the old Starrcades, though. Yeah, you're fair. And Triple H. Young Stephanie McMahon. As Mick Foley is out, the fans are not happy. Fan favorite Mick taken out by the game. Him and Linda going to the back, walking off. Marvel is partially responsible for the death of cinema. They basically made cinema into an episodic TV when the last time everyone released a good indie movie, hardly ever now. Oh, there's so much here to unpack, dude. Marvel's not responsible for it. That's bullshit to me. And to make it episodic, no, because if you go back, I mean, they're not the first series that ran at like, oh, this connects to this, connects to this. They might have amped it up, but to me, the problem, I mean, the sheer lack of creativity. Again, it's all about the money. It's all about money nowadays. And the indie movies, the good surprises. Like I grew up a Clerks fan, a movie made for a few grand that ends up making a career and leading into a bunch of other movies. The people that pull the strings, the people of power, it's just so much easier to like, let's make another Little Mermaid. Let's make another fucking sorry, Mick Foley just laying out Triple H. I don't want to go too far into this, but it's just a sheer lack of creativity. They'd rather play the instead of taking a risk on something new, they'll just repeat the pattern. Oh, we'll go back that way. Like in my life, and we're getting the fourth and fifth and sixth renditions of Batman. I said I just went back to Chris Nolan's Batman and watched Batman Begins and then The Dark Knight. By the way, still to this day one of the best cinematic performances ever. Shout out to the late great Heath. We're down to Rock and the Triple H. But again, for these companies, the people that are flipping the bill for these movies, they would rather put out remakes of shit. And again, if you want to modernize certain things, fine, just make something new. You can come up with new princesses and new things. I think Disney in itself is fucking really crippled and hurt the movie business. All of it. It's just, again, it's the almighty fucking dollar that at the end of the day, it's sad. Because remember, you get like some unknown filmmaker would put out a fucking amazing movie and it would be going around. You got to see this movie. You got to see, have you seen Kids? Have you seen Clerks? Have you seen this? Have you? And that was the fun of it. Now it's just like, oh, they're remaking fucking Superman for the 14th time this year. Oh, they're gonna remake fucking. I think what did I just see? Harold and Kumar's coming back out with another one. Which I mean, shout out to them. But again, they're older now. Do we really? Where do we draw the line? Something else coming out, and I don't want it. But yeah, that's my long-winded movie rant. I hate it all. Yeah, they tried Starrcade in Charlotte. That's facts. Tony could have had Ring of Honor on the CW, but he let his ego get in the way. Yeah, to me, that's what's going to be very curious is if Tony Khan is negotiating with Warner Brothers Discovery, and Tony feels like his company's worth this, and they feel like it's worth that, what happens? Like if Warner Brothers sits down with a bunch of analytics and says, this is what we think your company's valued based on our analytics, Tony goes, no, but we're great. We're on the hottest run ever. Have you seen Jericho? He's tearing it up. How do you negotiate with that? How do you come to a common billionaire will never take accountability? It's the fans' fault. Yeah, I mean, again, he's never had to take responsibility for anything in his life. So, I mean, a tough one. Oh, Triple H. They're in the crowd. Triple H gets dumped on the floor on the way back as we don't have much left in this one. Does CW make any good TV shows? I gave up on TV a long ago. I honestly don't know. I'm broken. I know, CW is known for like the fucking, I think Gilmore Girls, Dawson's Creek. I don't know. I don't watch TV unless it's sports, apparently, or wrestling. I watch a shit ton of wrestling. So yeah, I don't know. But I know from what I've read that CW was trying to change its portfolio, get some college sports, get some professional sports, change the dynamic of CW. So that's where the wrestling, they had an appetite for some wrestling because they want more sports-based content. So again, very interesting. Right in the solar plexus. I love it, C-Money. Imagine if Billy Gates started a wrestling promotion. Oh, fuck. But I think my hope is it might actually be better because then he's just the money behind it. And, then he could like Bill Gates to me would hire people to run the company, right? Bill Gates wouldn't be in the weeds like Vince McMahon. Bill Gates would hire like the best of the best to go run this company for me. And that's what the mistake Tony's making. Again, I've said it a million times. Tony Khan has as much wrestling booking management experience prior to opening this company that all of us did, right? Like I had more wrestling on my resume than he did 4 years ago, but he seemingly doesn't want to listen to the right people at times. The last really good one they had was Supernatural. Yeah, you know what? I've never fucking watched Supernatural. Rock dumping Triple H to the floor. I don't know. What do you think? WrestleMania 2000 rolling on. A lot of funky matches. I still got Vince at ringside. I got Stephanie at ringside. Triple H, The Rock. Oh, no, Mick, don't. Don't. Too late. I love the Jerry the King Lawler of like, I knew that was going to happen. I knew he was going to fuck this up. It kills me. That was like 15 years ago. Foley was a madman. He was insane. There hasn't been much like Mick Foley. Fringe was the last interesting show I watched when they had TV. I haven't seen Fringe. Interesting. A24 releases good movies. All right, I'll have to check that out if I ever get a chance. But yeah, man, I'm so sick of shit movies. When it's the same thing. Like, look, I'm an old guy yelling at cloud now that we were here watching WrestleMania 2000, but it's the same thing. Like songs used to have like a verse, a chorus, a verse, a bridge. Now it's just 2 minutes and 15 seconds of chorus, maybe 3, 4 lines of verse. Everything is just fucking watered down. We've everything's become so simplified as we move forward here. Well, people don't have the attention span. No, because we've catered to a lack of attention span. Back when you had to listen to a full song or you wanted to listen to the full song, you did. Well, fuck, man. Dumbing everything down. The world's getting stupider by the minute. You heard me. You fucking heard me. It's Disney's fault, not Marvel's. Yeah, see, I blame Disney too. Disney's just fucking up all around for multiple fucking different reasons, but we don't get into all that. I don't like when WWE uses old WCW and NWA names because they watered them down and makes me think of the past. That's a valid argument, and I understand people being protective of kind of the things that are near and dear, the throwbacks and such. I don't hate it. I don't mind when they're paying homage, Movies take a lot to make, so producers want to return on investment. Best bet to do that is remakes. Yeah, until the remakes start being so fucking horrible. Yeah, and you're just playing off the fan base of like, oh my god, this is returning. There's a thing on Netflix of, I think it's the movies that made us, and it goes into like Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. And again, I collected all of this shit, guys. Big fan, and it touches on like you think back of where it was just like a hope and a dream and a bunch of film students getting together and it worked out. Like, you think of Halloween and Friday the 13th and even Elm Street become these iconic brands on the back of just hope, right? On the back of trusting a new idea, and then it catches fire. And we've seen it time and time again that movies just kind of take off, but we don't do that. We don't allow for that anymore because we might shit the bed. It's like lowering the basketball hoop. Well, I'm guaranteed to dunk from here. Like it's shit. Shane McMahon beating up Vince. Young Steph was a hottie. Yeah, Steph's a hottie. Steph's still a hottie. Shane beating up Vince awkwardly. Macho. See money. Hey now. TV monitor. They have big old square TV monitors. Anyone notice the weird T-shirt in Leave Them All Behind? Obey NASA. I haven't seen that yet. Obey NASA. That's hilarious. Not Y2J though. That's facts. Disney owned Marvel. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Back. You got me on my old man rant here today. Back in my time, things used to be good. But I feel like every generation has said that and things have just progressively got worse. There was a time the studios balanced it, small indies. Yeah, you have your commercial nut and you have your indie nut, to put it bluntly. But yeah, you again, now they don't, everything is, and again, everything is just, we're going to do test groups and see what they like better. Should she wear a red shirt? Should she wear a blue shirt? How do they feel about this? And I mean, I think you're partly handcuffed in comedy and horror in particular. It's hard to do a horror movie and not offend somebody. It's hard to do a really good comedy and not have people get offended. I think in a day and age where everything offends somebody, yeah, it's really hard to have creativity. And to those out there that are pushing the envelope, especially stand-up comedians that push against that, those are my favorite. Anybody that's kind of pushing against this bullshit, again, people just get their fucking panties in a bunch for nothing, and they don't even talk to you about it. They just run away. Run away, run away. Vince McMahon, bloodied, being helped up by the Stooges. Busted open by his own son. Check out Patrick H. William, who is killing cinema, lays it out in a good way. I'll check that out. I like that. I like that kind of shit, Unbroken. So I appreciate that. Dun, dun, dun. They're producing the Iron Claw film. That's fact. There you go. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. 823. 100 Arrow, The Flash, The Vampire Diaries, iZombie. Oh, okay. Okay. They also made Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'll leave that amongst y'all. Oh, I'm obsessed with TV. Listen, I was just a media junkie. Like, I mean, I grew up like I had a wall of CDs. I love CDs. I don't know if y'all had like Columbia House and shit, where it was like, remember the commercials where like, 10 CDs for a penny. You get them like in magazines and shit. I took advantage of that and pillaged it as a child, and I had thousands of CDs. And then it was DVDs. I had to have everything in DVD form. Every horror movie series I could get my hands on. I just love collecting that kind of shit. And I grew up where my babysitter was the VCR for many years. So that's where I learned a lot of shit. But yeah, I don't know. I learned it all in the media studies class. Nice. Anyway, back to the wrestling. Triple H, 2x4, barbed wire. If you use a name from the past but change 85% of what it was, it is paying respect, or just trying to use the name for profit. Bit of column A, bit of column E. We hear again, if it has no, sorry, 1 second. Triple H gets shot into Shane McMahon. Yeah, if you take the name and then gut everything else, it's just for the name. The name becomes the marquee purpose. Down goes Triple H. However, again, I like it when you do it right, when you do something proper, and you pay homage that way. It's more than just the name. I see what you're definitely saying there. KJ, if you never ever seen Anything Everywhere All at Once, you have to check it out. All right, Keyshawn. Shane's got a chair. Stephanie's screaming, Vince is back, and punches his kid in the balls. The cheekiest of ball shots, too. For the love of God. For the love of God! It's the best shit. Vince is limping, but he's back. Now Vince has the chair. And he takes out The Rock. What did you do that for? Triple H, JR is the best, man. What did you do that for? Stephanie, stunned look on her face. Big kick out. The Rock refuses to lose. But the whole time this match is happening, guys, to me, I've talked about it, it's the pandemonium in the building. Like, they are fucking losing their mind. They're at every move. For us looking back, we see some of this shit as it's stupid or it's silly or it's campy. But the crowd is with all of it. All of it. They're right there for all of it. And Vince McMahon puts the final nail in The Rock. And the main event winner, WrestleMania 2000, WrestleMania 16, Triple H. With the help of Vince. People throwing shit in the ring. Yeah, my mom had a subscription to TV Guide, and it had Columbia House. This many CDs for, dude. I pillaged Columbia House on the record. Like, those Columbia House deals were awesome, and they were like literally like at the time, you would get like they would send you your CDs, and as a kid, I mean, being like 15, 16, I wouldn't pay. Like, I'd send the initial money that you have to send with And then when they would follow up, you get a phone call from Columbia House. Hi, it says here that you owe us $173. No, I don't. Yes, you do. I'm just a kid. Oh, what do you mean you're just a kid? Mom, like they had no grounds. I remember one time they had asked for like $112 from me. And when I talked to them, I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I never got that. They were like, well, can you give us 40? Like they would cut deals with you. And every month, I just stack my CDs. Oh, oh. Vince saying, you cracked my skull. So I punched you in the balls. The Rock's pissed. McMahon's at every corner, was overbooked as shit. Yeah. The Rock running back in. Because not only did you have the McMahons, you had the Stooges. Rock bottom on Shane. Vince taking shots. Rock bottom on Vince. I will say, Vince takes a better rock bottom than he does stunner, oddly enough. I have HD DVRs in both rooms, plus a Fire Cube, streaming devices in both rooms. Yeah, man. I'm with you, bro. I love it. Now, the last 2 years, my life has been extremely wrestling heavy. I watch way too much wrestling. Watch live with you guys. When I'm not with you guys, I'm watching other wrestling to keep my knowledge up, try and be in the know. So wrestling has dominated, but what I try and do at nights and shit is either go through old archives and such. But everything's at the tip of your finger now. So like I said, I randomly started watching Batman's this week. I don't know why. I just felt like doing it. I got to finish off the last 20 minutes of The Dark Knight Rises. Kiss, kiss, bang, bang. Triple H up on the apron. The Rock with the people's elbow on Stephanie. The most dysfunctional family in wrestling history, perhaps. And as much as, see, again, smart little nuances back then is, I think nowadays Triple H would have won that and we would have went off the air with Triple H as champion. And the fans kind of have that like a Roman Reigns. When, Roman Reigns cheats, we go home. And we kind of leave a pay-per-view feeling like, it's kind of a shitty ending. In this case, Triple H gets the win. The Rock's pissed off that he got screwed, runs back in, takes out Shane, takes out Vince, takes out Stephanie, and the show goes off the air with everybody screaming and cheering. Little workarounds, right? You get the story you want, but get the feel you want at the end of it all. Hey, look, great minds. Not to sound a bit old. Don't worry, I've been sounding old for the last fucking hour. But I think a lot of comedians are not funny. If you're truly funny, it doesn't matter if you're offensive to the joke. Some just try to be offensive first and second. So, diehard stand-up comedy fan. But yes, if you're trying to be offensive for the sake of being offensive, it doesn't work. It never works. But the GOATs, the Dave Chappelle's, the Bill Burrs, the Chris Rocks, Kevin Hart ends up being a GOAT nowadays. But again, there's a level of edge to it, right? Even Joe Rogan's a phenomenal comedian, but it's the edge. And I think you think of some of the legends that came before them, of like the Eddie Murphys, Prince, any of the old school guys, they probably don't get where we were going to get in comedy if you have all that cancel culture, all that I'm offended, you hurt my feelings. It's not about being offensive, it's about telling jokes. And I would argue some of the names I lent out there, even Andrew Schultz. If you guys haven't seen Andrew, to me, Andrew's one of the best doing it right now. He is fucking hysterical, but he pushes the envelope, and a lot of people get mad about it. And I think people just got to stop being so mad about shit. There's my old man advice for the day. Stop being so mad about everything. We talk about so much of it. Just enjoy life, guys. People find reasons to be mad. I can't believe you said that. It's just words. We'll be okay. If you don't like it, don't watch it. Rocky is now layeth the smackdown on, So Rocky lays out everybody. That's the end of WrestleMania 2000. There you go, Triple H with the belt. Wrestling has more than one royal family. See money. That is beautiful. That is fucking brilliant. If you want to have a laugh, look up NSYNC Last Bass. Bat kind of has a beard. Like, okay. I'm terrified now. When I think of dystopia, I think Handmaid's Tale. Okay. Lenny Bruce, perfect example. Carlin is Carlin. I have an entire box set of Carlin. I fucking love Carlin. And again, it's not about the obscenity. It's about the intelligence. Intelligent comedians are the best. And if they know what they're doing, it is fucking beautiful. Love how Steph no-sells the rock bottom. Now I know where Mox is. It's too funny. Steph's big concern was keeping herself in her top. That's why she no-sold. The people's elbow. Same thing. I got you, bro. I know where you were going with it. It's overbooked, but it's just chaos. Like, you even think of like some of the bigger moments. Like, one of my favorite moments ever was, Austin coming out, helping Mankind win the world title for the first time, the asses in seat moment. And it was so overbooked. There was shit everywhere, but it's done in such a way that you're just kind of going along with the ride. The 7 dirty words. Oh, you can't say, amazing. And I'm not going to say them here now, but yeah, classic. Have you seen Kevin Hart interview John Cena? They also did a short series called Die Hard 2. No, I have not seen that. I know they did the Die Hard thing, Die Hard thing. But yeah, I get you. You're right. Chappelle, Bill Burr cannot be canceled because they are funny. Chappelle's the GOAT. Like, I mean, I can go back and we said Carlin's a genius. I actually liked Rodney Dangerfield back in the day. Before my time, but I love all his shit. When I was young, we had a VHS. I had dubbed Eddie Murphy Delirious. And it was like this underground thing with me and my cousins of like, we would make copies and we would hand so all like the young kids that weren't supposed to be listening to adult humor were sharing this video. Fucking amazing. Chappelle's a GOAT. Pryor's another guy, hilarious. Love old school Chappelle. Yeah, Chappelle's amazing. Just gets it. Just smarter than the group. Richard Pryor, there you go. Another GOAT. I love it. All the best jokes have some truth. That's the ones that hit. And I think nowadays, like, I don't know how we got here, guys, but that was WrestleMania 2000. But yeah, I think going back to like TK and that is, you got to be able to take some truth or take some criticism. I don't fucking know. We're going to tie it all in, but this is what we do here. Louis C.K. is my favorite comedian because he doesn't care. He's a modern day George Carlin. Louis C.K. I like. I don't love Louis. But Louis is definitely funny. Absolutely. But yeah, modern day George. I see that comparison as well. I'm going to be careful when I read this. All right, you're okay to say that. All right, we're good. I saw some words I wasn't sure about. But yeah, I don't know where this came from. I'll take it. VMK strikes again. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, folks of all ages, that is WrestleMania 2000. That is WrestleMania 16. We will be back for WrestleMania 17, 18, 19, 20. We got to work out the schedule over the holiday. Big shout out to everybody who spent any time here with me today. I will be back tonight for Dynamite. It's going to be a fun one. We got a lot to talk about. The Holiday Bash. We're getting down to the last few Continental Classic matches. Raw and Delirious, by the way. Yeah. Delirious is better than Raw, but Raw is good too. The Raw has like some of those, Eddie, what are you doing, Eddie? But yeah, no. Same KJ Bat. I'll let you have that. But no, thank you for everything, guys. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it here at the channel. And till later. Bye. See you on the flip side tonight.